Well, on Saturday, September the 30th, the K2 Arena in Crawley in West Sussex, it really is a night of destiny. Max Chart, the challenger, takes on the British Super Middleweight champion Lee Cannon in arguably one of the biggest fights of the season. And tonight, I'm here at the Battlebridge Boxing Club in Surrey to talk to the challenger, Max Chart, ahead of what promises to be another classic Quest Boxing League showdown. And Max, caught a little glimpse of your training on the bag earlier. Looked a little bit grueling. I know for you, we're at the tail end of an unbelievably hard training camp ahead of, as we all know, the biggest fight of your Quest Boxing League career. So first and foremost, before we dissect, analyse, talk about the impending fight, first and foremost, how are you?
I'm very well, Alan, thank you. It's been a very long, gruelling camp for the biggest fight of my career, and I don't want to say I'm glad that we're getting to the back end of it, but it's definitely been tiring. I've enjoyed it. I've left no stone unturned as usual, done everything that I've been asked of, and I'm just looking forward to putting it all together on the night.
Well, putting it all together on the night against, like we say, the biggest opponent of your Quest Boxing League career. And for the fans, for myself, and for everybody that knows yourself, that knows Lee Cannon, this is one of those fights that has really, really got people's attention because you're both incredibly well known in the competition. You know, Lee Cannon, the British Super Middleweight champion, captured the belt in unbelievable fashion against Mide Dedegbe, stopping him last time out. We've got yourself on the other hand. Last time out, a career best performance against Josh O'Brien to capture the national light heavyweight title in arguably the fight of 2023 so far. And you've got all these ingredients kind of bubbling away where everybody knows both fighters. Everybody has an opinion on how this fight plays out, who wins this fight and why. And to kind of, before we dive into this fight, to be involved in a fight like that, knowing that your main event, you're the one coming in as the challenger this time, it's got to be something special.
Without being dramatic, mate, it's sort of a dream come true. You say how long Lee is very seasoned. You've had him on your promotion for many, many years. I actually started watching your promotion with Lee boxing, coming to support the likes of Ben Davis, who I believe would be in his corner actually at this time. So there's a lot involved in this fight. But this is just a massive fight. I've been watching this for a long time, and to be top of the bill against the British Super Middleweight champion, it's like I say, without being dramatic, it's pretty much like it's up there. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I headlined in the last one against a good champion. This is the only thing that can top that really, and that's where we're at.
Let's look at Lee as an opponent. Like you say, he's been in the competition a long time. He's fought at the highest level. For him, I would say his last performance, like yours, career best performance, beating Mide Dedegbe to win the British Super Middleweight title. But as we approach this fight, you've obviously had Lee in your sights. You've watched his footage. You know exactly what Lee brings to this fight, what he brings to the table. Try and assess, in your own words, what you think of Lee as an opponent.
I believe he's a bit of a heavy hitter. He likes his overhand right. Obviously, you can only see what's been put in front of you, but I believe that I just give the footage to my coaches and just do what they ask of me. Sometimes I don't always understand why they're doing it, but that's why they're the coaches and I'm the student. But I've got a lot of respect for Lee, and like you say, he's worked his way up to the top, as have I. That's why I'm in this position to sort of challenge for this title. But Lee said that he was going to retire before this fight and he wanted to go out on a big fight. And he said himself in the head-to-head with me in the ring at Epsom on the last show, win, lose or draw, he knows that he's in there with a good opponent who's going to give him a good go. So Lee's not going to leave no stone unturned either. He's going to go in there making sure that he's going out with a bang, however that may be. But it's my duty to make sure that that bang comes from the end of one of my fists.
We've seen you throughout your career with some fantastic performances, not just in Quest but previously in Queensbury Boxing League. You know, if you look back at some of those fights, the likes of Frankie Lloyd, the Viking. Great performance against Frankie, who was a highly recognised and sort of a well thought of opponent. The stoppage over Ricky Peacock, your debut against Chris Jones at the K2 back then, and then moving on to your sort of your Quest career, you know, Darren Sercombe, you know, coming back after a long layoff and sort of and putting in a sort of a grueling victorious performance there, to the likes of Brady Lesser, to the likes of Josh O'Brien. You know, every fight that you've been in has been exciting. Every fight that you've been a part of, win, lose or draw, has always been something that people leave the arena talking about that fight. And as I say, we all know from, you know, the last performance against Josh O'Brien, an unbelievable fight, an incredible performance, and the atmosphere from the ring walk, walking out into to the sold out K2, to, you know, the respect, the mutual respect between you. It was an unbelievable night of boxing. But fast forward to September 30th, and I think with Lee's history in the competition, Lee as the champion, you as the challenger, and what this means to both of you, you know, call it the last dance for Lee Cannon. He sees this as his sort of his farewell night, and he's obviously going to want to go out as the champion and beat somebody, a recognised challenger in yourself. And I know that you've obviously got other plans. So you said it's been a long camp. Try and sort of talk us through how hard and how difficult this camp has been, both physically and mentally.
It's been the hardest camp that I've ever been through, and mainly mentally more than physically, but I've had good people around me to sort of help me get through the ups and downs, and we've, as I said earlier, we've had left no stone unturned, and at the end of the day, a wise man once told me that fighters fight, and sometimes you have to just face that man in the mirror and just continue to fight the fight. But this camp has been very, very hard for me, and there was some physical blips and things like that, but I just want to let everybody know there is no excuses for this fight. Lee wants to go out, be victorious. I want to make sure that I am the man standing in the way of that, because I want to beat the champion. I have no injuries, I'm in a good mental place. The best man will win this fight on the night, and I want to thank Lee for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this, because I'm very grateful for this, and there's no malice between Lee and I, and but as I said in the ring, I'm sure we can bring some spite on the night. Absolutely. It's a funny thing, boxing, you know, you can hammer each other for sort of 5 rounds, you know, literally throw leather, throw down, you know, you both want to stop the man in the opposite corner, but as soon as that bell sounds, the final bell goes, it's all forgotten about. And, you know, 99% of the time in boxing, it's sort of like that, you earn that mutual respect. You have to respect a man who can take everything you can give. Absolutely. And I believe that he's going to be there to, well, listen, there's no, realistically, I don't know if there's a favourite. I'd have probably said that there probably isn't, because people like what they like. Lee's a big banger and he's a champion. So whether of course I favour myself, same as he says that he favours himself. But I feel like if there's going to be an upset, it will be that there's going to be a new champion. Well, they say, you know, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And at the moment, Lee Cannon, the British champion, is the best. And he's standing in your way of becoming, obviously, not only a national champion, but you've obviously captured a national belt, but a British champion, which is for the best of the best in the competition. So, yeah, like I say, you're both so well known in the competition. You've both had fantastic nights in the competition. And I know that, you know, looking at this on paper, opinions divided. You've got the camp that are saying, well, you know, if Max Chart sticks to his boxing, if he just sort of doesn't see the red mist, can just box his way through the box himself through the fight, you know, not get mixed up in anything, Max Chart wins this fight. And then on the flip side, you've got those that say, well, if Max Chart gets involved in a bit of a sort of a toe-to-toe row, we've seen Cannon, we've seen that strong overhand right, we've seen the devastation that can cause. If Max gets caught with a punch like that, what happens? You know, we've seen that before. So, like I say, it's intriguing because there are so many variables. Like with any boxing fight, you know, it only takes one punch, as the old saying goes. 100%.
to change the course of a fight, and that's, for this fight especially, what makes it sort of so exciting. So for yourself, like I say, I know you're confident, I know you favour yourself, but come Saturday, September the 30th, when it's all said and done and it's over, what happens?
And the new. Listen, YouTube Max Chart and look at his fights and see whether I've been in one boring fight. Win, lose, or draw, everything has been entertaining. So tune in on September the 30th for another epic Max Chart entertaining fight, and watch me become the British Super Middleweight champion of Quest Boxing.
Well, Max, you're looking in great shape. We can see it in your face. You look in the shape of your life, and I know that, like you say, no stone unturned. Lee Cannon, he's the same. You know, he's coming to retain that belt, and he believes that he will still be the champion. So I know that this is a fight you do not want to miss. Saturday, September the 30th, the main event, Night of Destiny at the K2 Arena in Crawley in West Sussex. The challenger in front of me tonight, Max Chart, will be taking on the champion, Lee Cannon, in what promises to be one of the biggest fights in Quest Boxing League history.